and nothing was done for me, so I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit.
Welcome into another edition of Trust the Process Live. We've got some Philly news to get into. The Eagles showed up to camp this week, and as you can see, we're at the beautiful Kismet here in Manayunk with special guest 97.5's Andrew Salciunas. Andrew,
hey,
welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, guys. Wow. I usually get booed. It's pretty nice. Thanks.
It's a nice change-up. Someone who might be throwing some change-ups for the Phillies. Some breaking news from earlier today. The Phillies acquired Jason Vargas from the Mets. Andrew, what's your initial reaction?
Change-ups or fastballs?
Well,
because his fastball is going to top out at 89.
Right, yeah.
So
Right, you can't really tell. You can't really tell.
Like literally, Fangraphs have them. He has the slowest velocity in all of Major League Baseball this year.
There you go.
So, but the trade, I don't know why people are angry about it. I don't know if you guys like stormed around social media after the trade happened.
Angry about it.
I saw so many fire Gabe Kapler. I saw so many fire Matt Klentak tweets, and I'm like, why? I know Jason Vargas is not what you want. He's not Trevor Bauer. He's not Madison Bumgarner. He's none of those big names that are out there right now. But the guy has a lower ERA than 4/5 of your starting rotation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so he's better than 4/5 of your rotation right now. Obviously, Aaron Nola is your best pitcher, and we're not going to question that. But after Jason Vargas, who has a 4.01 ERA right now, is Vince Velasquez. And Vince Velasquez was kicked out of the rotation at one point, brought back in, kicked out again, brought back in, and he has the second best ERA on the team. So now Vargas is there.
So I'll answer the question as to why people are pissed off, and I'll speak from someone who likes the Phillies but not a true Phillies fan. The day before, the New York Mets went and got Marcus Stroman, who was on a lot of people's trade lists for literally 2 bags of Planters peanuts.
Yes.
Okay? That's why people are mad, because you could have had him for about what you gave up for Vargas. I mean, they gave up a guy that's in the farm system doing absolutely nothing. The Mets gave up 2 guys that were not in the top 100. That's what the Phillies have. They could have pulled the trigger on a trade and got a guy that's actually going to be a quality starter with control beyond this year versus a 36-year-old who's basically Jamie Moyer without the talent. That's what people are upset about. When you're a team that has all these expectations of being a contender, a team that people felt when they went and got Harper and they traded for JT Realmuto and it was all this, hey, we're going to go and we're going to win, we're going to be great. And then you looked at the pitching and you had Nola and a bunch of nothing, a bunch of me and yous up there.
Right.
Then it was like, well, what are we going to do to get better? And you see everybody else making all these trades, everybody else making moves. And granted, there's still some big names out there, but Greinke's pretty much said he's not coming here. So who's left that you can go and get? Trevor Bauer? Okay, he just got mad at getting pulled in the game and tossed the ball in the center
Loved it,
field.
by the way.
Do you want that? Yes. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, Phillies fans might. Phillies fans might want that. Well, Jason Vargas punches reporters, so you're going to get fired one way or another.
I'm tired of our pitchers getting knocked around. I'm trying to knock some other people around right now. And you talked about the starting rotation right now. You guys both talked about the starting rotation. We have 2 people that are really solidified in that starting rotation. 3 for 5 are unreliable. And now you get someone who you can at least rely upon. Does he have the velocity that was?
Who's the other guy that you rely on?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Jake Arrieta?
No.
He doesn't have a bone.
I mean,
It's missing.
Look, it's
missing.
It's not someone who's getting kicked out of the rotation like Vince Velasquez.
Well, it's because he's making $30 million. Where are you going to put him?
So you got to rely. Well, then even more to my point, it makes you go and get out somebody who can at least pitch for you on a consistent basis. And as you said, he comes in as having the second best ERA on the team already, and as another lefty in the rotation, which we're hurt.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going out there and buying a Jason Vargas jersey. Like I hope nobody
no one
wastes.
is.
Look at me. I don't know what camera I'm looking at. Don't waste your money on a Jason Vargas
But there's
jersey.
still time.
Right?
But there is still time to go do something. And hopefully, the Phillies can get something done before the end of the trade deadline.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they're done yet.
Yeah, and and just the reaction from people on social media just shows the pessimistic kind of vibe that's around this team right now. I mean, they're still a possible wild card team, but there's no doubt they've had some failures since the start of June. They're 22-26. Not exactly a great ball club. Who is most to blame? E.T., who is most to blame for their failure?
So my answer, everybody's going to probably go easy. I'll say Gabe Kapler, because when teams fail, the manager's always the first head to roll, unless it's like a Joe Madden or somebody with some clout and stature. My answer is Matt Klentak, and here's the reason why. You knew coming into the season what your deficiencies were. He's done absolutely nothing to address it. Let me ask you this. When's the last real splash that Klentak made at the deadline? Take your time. I'll wait. So while you're thinking about that, that's why people are upset about Jason Vargas, because the reality is you've not seen Matt Klentak go out and pull off a Ruben Amaro type trade. Say what you want about Amaro, but he went out and made big-time trades at the deadline when necessary. Pat Gillick did trades that were necessary to put a team in position at the deadline. You've not seen that from Klentak. And the concern is he's not going to. For whatever reason, even though the owners came out and said, I'll spend money, I'll go, I'll do this, that, and the third. put the money where the mouth is. Go out. If you have to give up a bunch of prospects that the Phillies don't really have a whole lot in anyway, do that. But go get somebody that's going to come in here and give the fans a reason to feel like they have hope at the back end of the season. Because you're looking at last season all over again. They started hot and then they collapsed towards the end.
I don't disagree with anything you just said. I'm going to go a little mixed bag of a whole lot of people deserve blame for this season. You have Clint Tech. You have Gabe Kapler for a lot of decisions that he's made this season, playing the numbers and not the game for a lot of the times. You have to look at the bullpen, injuries and all.
Absolutely.
There's so many games that we've been up, especially against Atlanta and Washington, have huge leads, turning the ball over from Nola or Arrieta when he has a rare good pitching performance, and blowing those games. Not only does that hurt the record, but that hurts your morale. When you go up against an NL East teams you thought you were going to win and beat handedly in a season, and you blow big leads like that, that hurts your morale for not only the team, but for the city as a whole. And then I got to look at the bats at sometimes, because there are some games, look, people score runs in baseball. It's going to happen. You're going to have a lead. Sometimes the other team's going to score runs. You got to go back and be able to get those runs back, get some insurance for maybe your bullpen to help them out, help your closers at the end of the games. And bats go silent many times after the 6th and 7th inning. And we have hitters that we should be able to rely upon in late games and late innings to drive in some runs and have some production, and we're just not getting that on a consistent basis like we're paying for.
Right. Andrew, what do you think?
Klentak.
Matt
Good
Klentak?
So to piggyback to that point, when Jay Bruce, a guy who you acquired literally for, again, 2 bags of Planters, peanuts, and some Doritos, comes in and becomes your leading home run hitter, that speaks volumes. You got a $330 million star who can't crack 20 home runs. When the balls are flying out of ballparks to share at a record pace, that's a problem. You got JT Realmuto, who people argue was the best catcher in baseball. He's your only all-star, but he's not knocking the cover off the ball a whole lot either in terms of hitting home runs in a hitter-friendly ballpark. So, yes, does that go to the hitting coach? Does that go to maybe guys need to shorten their swing a little bit, stop swinging with the uppercut swing for the home run, and just look to drive and put the ball in play? Maybe. There's a whole bunch of different things that can go around, absolutely. But at the end of the day, players got to play. They have to. But you got to have players.
Yeah, but where does that all come from? It comes from the man upstairs. Matt Klentak got praised for signing Bryce Harper. It wasn't Matt Klentak.
No, it wasn't.
John Middleton's pocket signed Bryce Harper, all right?
Agreed.
John Middleton and his wife are the ones that went out there for that second meeting in Vegas.
They didn't want Klentak.
It wasn't Matt Klentak out there. It wasn't weirdo Gabe Kapler. I don't like Gabe Kapler, by the way.
Weirdo Gabe Kapler.
I'm going to tell you right now, I hate Gabe Kapler.
So then you're not suggesting they should go out and get Pat Burrell as their manager?
Yeah,
Someone called into your show today?
Yeah, so I do the Fanatic Baseball show 6 to 7 every day. Some guy said they should fire Gabe Kapler and hire Pat Burrell. Here's the thing, Gabe Kapler, 0 managerial experience before coming to the Phillies. Pat Burrell, same exact thing, 0 managerial experience.
Just be a name that people know.
I don't want a person learning on the job when you brought in 5 All-Stars. Say what you want about Bryce Harper not performing the way we expected him to. All-Star. JT Realmuto. Yes, I still believe he can be the best catcher in baseball. All-Star. McCutchen going down was the biggest thing that happened this year.
Well, when you have no managerial experience, when stuff goes south like that, you have nothing to go back to and reference and say, how have I done this before? Joe Madden does have that. I've had stars before. They've underperformed. This is what I did to get them to perform again.
It's cool that Kapler learned on the job last year. He didn't have a good enough roster to win last year anyway. So, okay, learn last year. He's still learning this year. He's got all these All-Stars. It's a problem. But I'm still going Matt Klentak. As much as I don't like Gabe Kapler, I'm still going Klentak. The starting pitching, he told everybody, no matter what news station it went down there, no matter what radio station, TV station, he told them that the starting pitching was going to be good enough. That in itself is a joke. 7 players from the bullpen on the injured list.
That kills you.
7 players.
Including Dave Robertson, who was
I was about to say, did we put out like, a lost to please return for Dave Robertson?
They spoke today. Matt Klentak spoke today. They might not get him back till September if they get him back. But here's the thing. You had 7 guys on the injured list. Craig Kimbrell's been just out there. I know that Craig Kimbrell had a couple of bad outings when he first got signed by the Cubs, but he was just out there. You didn't have to give up anything but money. And you're in the middle of payroll in all of baseball, so you have the money to do it. And yet you neglect the starting pitching at the beginning of the year. You neglect to help out the bullpen. There have been trades made for relievers in the months of May, in the months of June. Not big ones. It's like Chad Durbin, right? But you're not trading for Mariano Rivera, but they could have made trades, and he just sat in his hands thinking, all right, these guys are going to come back. Well, Neshek came back. He got hurt again. Tommy Hunter came back. He got hurt again. Those 3 guys, Hunter, Neshek, and Robertson, 33, 34, 38, they're getting a combined of $24 million right now to sit on their butts this year.
Not getting it done. And of the most recent things to go wrong for the Phillies, they just concluded a 3-game series with the Braves, the biggest series of the year, where they dropped 2 of 3 and got blown out in 2 of those games. Taking a big picture look at this here, the Braves and the Phillies started rebuilding at about the same time. The Braves have a cheaper roster, I'm pretty sure, and are a better team this year by all regards. James,
better team last year.
What went wrong in the Phillies rebuilding process?
I'm sure both of you are going to disagree with what I'm about to say. But I'm taking a little bit of, I'm letting the Phillies off the hook a little bit and saying they got a little bit unlucky and the Braves got a little bit lucky. And here's why I'll say that is the Phillies had good prospects that they traded who had value. They drafted, when you're in a rebuilding process, who you hope to draft are players who either have good production or have good value. They drafted players who had value, traded them away for players who they thought were going to come in and produce for them right now and win now mode. And the players that they brought in for those players that they traded aren't producing at the level that they wanted to. On the flip side, the Braves drafted players who ended up being very good very, very quickly in Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies. Players that people didn't necessarily think were going to be this good this quick. I think that direct inverse is why the Phillies and the Braves are at a different trajectory right now.
So I'm going to piggyback and say the farm system, but for a different reason. Mickey Moniak was the top pick in the draft. Not 2, not 3, not 10, not 20. Top. And you say what you want, and I'll use the Sixers for another team. The Sixers have had top picks, okay? But they pretty much nailed number 1 overall, okay? Minus Markelle Fultz, which we'll laugh about. Which we'll laugh about. They nailed Ben Simmons for all intents and purposes based off that draft class. The point I'm making is you don't get the number 1 pick in baseball very often. You can't miss with a guy that is struggling in single AA baseball. You can't. Not when there's so many guys below him who have come up and played better. If you're talking a guy who went in the 6th round, 7th round, okay, everybody passed on him. But a guy in the 1st round who can't crack your lineup, who can't get a September call-up, that's where you missed it. Because if you hit on him, maybe now you've got a guy that you don't have to trade a top prospect for. And it's not just Mickey Moniak. I'll go a step further. Going back to Ed Wade, when's the last time the Phillies actually drafted good prospects? And I said Ed Wade, who most people hated as a GM here, but the one thing that man did well was draft. He drafted Ryan Howard. He drafted Rollins. He drafted guys that came up and did something here. You don't have anything in the farm system to look forward to. You got all these guys that are playing good down single AA, and you're hoping they're going to be good. Rhys Hoskins has turned out to be a good baseball player, but he's the aberration, not the rule.
But they did have some play. J.P. Crawford, who looks like he might
J.P.
turn
Crawford
out.
stinks.
Who might turn out to be
He was
something
terrible.
good.
He was a
higher OPS than Juice Segura.
Goodbye.
He did.
I'm out.
Who might turn out,
saying.
looks like he might turn out to be something good. Sixto, who was one of the best pitching prospects out. They traded up and got players back for them, but then the players they got for them aren't doing
I'm not mad at
what
the
we
Sixto
thought.
Sanchez for Real Muto because I still think that they needed a catcher. Catching was a big problem last year.
And at the
with
time,
Jorge
when you
Alfaro.
traded for JT Realmuto, at the time, he was the best catcher in baseball.
Agree.
Still can be.
Still can be.
I just because he's having a little off season in terms of his offense. He's still he hit the grand slam the other day. I know it's not.
He needed that,
Listen,
though.
he's not a 30 home run hitter.
No.
I think a lot of people got confused thinking he was going to be this 30 home run hitter, a guy that hits 100
It's not
RBIs.
Mike Piazza.
No,
Right.
he hits the gaps. Let him be a 300 hitter. He's not hitting 300. He's not hitting close to 300. I get that, but. You know, it's his first year in Philadelphia, first year for Bryce Harper in Philadelphia, and we keep on hearing that excuse for Bryce Harper. Oh, he's just getting used to it. JT's got to get used to it. Give it to him some time as well. But the prospect thing, at least you have Hoskins, at least you have Kingery. That's why I don't want to kill it too much because part of your core, key pieces of your core, Kingery is going to be a part of your core. He's going to be your everyday second baseman once they boot Cesar Hernandez out of here. Rhys Hoskins is going to be your everyday first baseman in this city once they continue to move on and continue to win. The trades, as you brought up, yes, they brought in some big players, but at the same time, you brought up Mickey Moniak. He went from the number 1 overall pick, number 1 prospect in your organization, to number 9. Eniel De Los Santos is in your top 10. Every time he gets called up, he gets raked.
Yep.
Ranger Suarez is still your
Ranger's
10th highest
terrible.
prospect. The fact that he is still your 10th highest prospect and has shown that he is not ready to pitch in the major leagues is a problem. Adonis Medina, your 2nd highest prospect, 77th in all of baseball, sounds great and all. He's 22. Why isn't he in the major league level yet?
Agreed. Yeah.
Because he's struggling in the minor leagues still. So you got to take a little bit of the good and the bad because some of your key pieces of your core are those prospects that have come up in recent years. But at the same time, part of the reason why you can't make these big trades is because what are you really giving up? Teams aren't excited for your prospects except Alec Boehm, who's untouchable.
Right. Yeah, and another guy who was bouncing around the top 10 for a little while was Roman Quinn, who's also not too great with the bat. But
Mr. Launch Angle now. He's
Yeah.
trying to hit a home run. He hits 1 home run against the Tigers. Now he's trying to hit a home run.
Now he's Roman Bonds. But in a perfect world, you said that no one's running out to buy a Jason Vargas jersey. I agree. In a perfect world, if you were the general manager and you can control what the Phillies did, what would your deadline look like?
If I could make a trade?
If you could make whatever amount of trades that are within the realm of possibility. Obviously, you're not going out there and getting Mike Trout for no one.
Well, Trevor Bauer, still number 1. I know you were talking about him throwing the ball over the fence. I would love Trevor Bauer. He has been open to signing one-year deals over and over again, and I don't think the Indians want to do that. And I think the Phillies, why not? If you can speak to him, he's arbitration eligible at the end of the season, so you have the first-hand look at being able to talk to him and all that stuff. If you could sign him for a 2-3-year deal, he could be better than Aaron Nola.
Agreed.
He might be better than Aaron Nola. I know we don't want to say that because Aaron Nola's our guy and Trevor Bauer isn't our guy yet. Maybe they do trade for him, but if they trade for him, he's the ace of your staff. He's your number one. How are you feeling all of a sudden if it's Bauer, Nola, and then Arrieta when healthy? You're feeling a little bit better.
He drops off next year.
You're not feeling great about Jake Arrieta as your number 3, but when he's healthy and you go Nola, Bauer, Arrieta, he's better than being your number 2.
Right. Yep. All right, E.T., what do you do to mend the team here?
So Bauer is a very good look.
If they can afford him.
If they can afford him. The Mets, you don't know what the hell they're doing, because you think, all right, they're looking to trade, but then they're going to acquire Stroman, but they got Syndergaard knowingly on the block. I say, hey, New York, come here. You take anything you want. I want Noah Syndergaard. He's 26. I don't care if he wants $150 million. Take it. Go ahead.
Well, I think Stroman, the deal might have been to kind of control the market.
Agreed.
Now Syndergaard is the number one guy.
Agreed. And you know what? If I have Aaron Nola and Noah Syndergaard, I'll take that for the next 5 years. All day. I like that 1-2 over any other 1-2 in baseball. That's me. Right. Maybe I'm wrong. The fact that he's pitched in Philadelphia and knows how to pitch to the Phillies also helps, which means he knows how to pitch in this ballpark. You want guys that are not going to pitch the contact. You want guys that have high velocity, high strikeout. I like Syndergaard. That's me. Do I think they get him? No. What's a good? I don't want Greinke. Boyd was okay when we saw him, but what are you going to have to give up for him? Stroman's off the market. There's not much left out there but Bauer.
Boyd, they're asking for 2 top prospects and then 2 also guys that are ready to play in the major leagues. So that's 4. Now that was last week. Mm-hmm. All right, now we're 2 days away from the MLB trade deadline. Maybe that price drops a little bit. That's what I'm hoping for. I like Boyd. He's not that exciting, but he's going to be a solid 2 or 3. Maybe Syndergaard sounds better. Bauer sounds better because they are a 1. You still don't know if Aaron Nola's a 1 yet.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
He took a little step back.
He's a 1 on this team at the very least.
He's a 1 on this team because he's not contending with a 1 on this team.
You two have them going after starting pitching. James, what were you thinking?
I mean, yes, starting pitching would probably be the first priority if I could get another thing in a perfect world. How about a little relief to help out? How about that bullpen? We got Alex Colomé over there at the White Sox running around on the trade market. Has, I think, about a 2.27 ERA right now. High strikeout rate. Led the AL in strikeouts. Was that in 2017, a couple years ago? Someone that, if you're looking for something to patch up holes somewhere and you swing and miss at all these starting pitchers, how about getting the bullpen some help, some relief?
Oh, yeah, if you want to go bullpen, I mean, you look at Ken Giles even as a return, Anybody helps.
Anybody.
I wasn't fired up about Ken Giles when he was here, but he's better than what you have.
I was about to say, at this point, is there a wrong answer for going to get someone out of the bullpen?
No, because Hector Neris can't handle the pressure of being a consistent closer. He can close in spurts, but he's a better setup guy than he is a closer to me.
Right. So we all agree they need to go out and get someone. We'll see what they will do coming up with the trade deadline. But, guys, before we move on to some Eagles talk, what is the biggest highlight of the Phillies season for you so far? Do you even have one? I see you're bewildered.
Signing Bryce Harper.
Does
that count because of before the season? That's the biggest highlight. I mean, the city went nuts. There were people riding down the street screaming, yay, we signed Bryce Harper. When's the last time you went down to CBP? It ain't looking like they are as excited about Bryce Harper, especially when he strikes out 4 times and they lose 2-1. Look, that's what you're seeing.
Right. Whatever. We have him for 13 years. So if 2 through 13 looks way different than 1, we forget about year 1. But I'll say, how about that first weekend sweep of the Braves when we all thought, oh, my God, this team is what we thought it was going to be. Sweeping the Braves. This is the one team that we needed to get out of here, having that good homestand at CBP. Bryce Harper hitting the grand slam in the first weekend. All was great at CBP. You want to talk about the energy at Citizens Bank Park. All was great in that first weekend. That was my highlight of the season.
Andrew, do you have one?
You sent me a piece of paper, right? It said, what is the biggest highlight of the Phillies season? I put, is there?
There it is. That it's halfway over.
But if you're going to give me a single highlight, if that's what you want the answer to be, I look back at that Mets series at home when they swept them in 4 games, when Franco tied it up with the 3-run home run, Segura hit the 3-run home run to win it. If you want to go single highlight, that's that. If you want to say big picture,
we can't look at the big picture.
Right, there's not much optimism.
There is none.
The big picture.
In the words of Dennis Green, the great philosopher, former head coach in the NFL, they are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook?
Let him off the hook.
Well, on that note, we're going to go to halftime. We're going to step aside for a second to talk with Chris Plant, owner of Kismet here, and he's going to tell us about his wonderful space.
Hello there. My name is Christopher Plant, and I'm the owner and founder of Kismet Co-work. We have 3 locations here in the city of Philadelphia. Our first is in Chestnut Hill, and our second is down at 10th and Spring Garden, and our third is right here in Manayunk. We want to thank Trust the Process for filming here tonight, and please come check us out at www.kismetcowork.com.
All right, there you have it. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you also so much for letting us in here. It's, as I said, a beautiful space. As you can see behind me, it's awesome. But
Makes you want to get them and go to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's time to get the boards that you guys are all armed with out.
Trusty marker.
And it's time for some offensive boards. We haven't done this in a while. First and foremost, Carson Wentz will blank this season. Whoever's first to mark it. E.T., you look like you're ready. Why don't you start us off there? Hold it up loud.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So Carson Wentz will not finish the season. Sorry, the guy gets hurt. He's been hurt literally every year he's played football since like Pee-wee, okay? He gets hurt. That's what he does. And when you have to put the game in the hands of Nate Sudfeld, you can chalk all this Super Bowl contending. He's not Nick Foles. You can chalk all of that. My answer is not finish.
All right, so Andrew, please give me something better than that.
The opposite. Be healthy all 17 games.
Gosh.
Or all 16 games, all 17 weeks. Here's the thing. Week 17, I'm hoping the Phillies or the Eagles are already in the playoffs. They already got a 1 seed, so he doesn't even have to play. So I don't say we'll play all 16 games, but we'll be healthy for all 16 games because he won't have to play in Week 17. But I think I might be telling myself that so I can go to sleep soundly and not have nightmares.
You are.
Because I'm having nightmares. There was the report on Saturday. He was trying to tackle Camus Grugier-Hill, who intercepted a pass of his in training camp. You got the red jersey on. By the way, Camus trying to stiff arm him. I don't know if you guys heard that. He tried stiff arming Carson. When you see red, okay, instincts for Carson to go tackle, that's stupid. Even if it happens during a game and he throws a pick, I want you to lay down. Get out of the way. If the ball's going this way, go that way. I don't care. Stay out of the way.
Remember when Chris Baker destroyed Nick Foles? Like, I don't ever want that situation to happen with Wentz. James, what do you have?
I'm kind of in the middle of these two. I'm going to say he'll be solid. Look, ET is exactly correct, and I agree with him tenfold that you have 2 back-to-back seasons of getting injured, and I can't really bank on you having a full healthy season. But I will say this. I do think Carson Wentz is someone who he's a very smart quarterback, very cerebral, and he's someone who learns from his mistakes. So I think he's seen that not every play has to be a home run play. Not every play you have to try to make something out of nothing. Sometimes the ball has to be thrown away. Sometimes I might have to take a sack. Sometimes I might have to try to, get out of the pocket, scramble, and try to make something out of nothing, which causes you to get hurt. So will he get hurt? Am I banking on him getting hurt? Am I predicting him to get hurt? No. Am I predicting him to go out and light the world on fire and have another MVP type season? No. I'm saying he'll be solid. That's all you can expect from Carson Wentz.
Why do you think he's going to get hurt?
He gets hurt all the time.
His style of play, his football,
so the aggressiveness
plays to contact.
And to his point,
he hasn't learned how to avoid it. He's Michael Vick, basically. Michael Vick played the contact.
That's what I'm saying. He learns how to, and I think he's hearing a lot from the Eagles organization, the fans, and people saying like, bro, like you've seen a lot of quarterbacks. RG3 might have had one of the best careers we've seen as a quarterback if he learned how to control it. And I think he's learning that and seeing that from a bunch of people. He says, I got to control it. But since he does that, his game might take a step back. He might not.
That's why I have that answer.
Yeah.
Now,
and hopefully he takes the Donovan pivot, because remember, Donovan ran all the time. He got hurt, and then he learned
to be. You want him to take the Donovan pivot?
Look, Donovan was super successful. We're not having the Donovan conversation.
We're not having the Donovan
conversation.
Listen, if he can stay healthy as Donovan did the bulk of his career, fans will be happy.
He wants him to take the Donovan pivot.
Best quarterback franchise history.
He is.
Yes,
he is.
Correct. We're going to move on, though. Next question. What Eagle are you most excited to see perform who was not on the roster last year? E.T., once again,
my answer is one Mr. Deshaun Jackson, and here's the reason why. The guy was one of the most electric players in the history of this city when he played here. Everybody remembers the miracle at the Meadowlands. It's one of the highlights that most fans have ever had as Eagles fans. The fact that he still has blazing speed at 32 years old, the fact that he has grown and matured as a person, we'll see. But the fact that he comes in and puts that top off the cover secondary, because you got Alshon who can't outrun molasses pouring from a bowl. You need somebody that's going to be able to pull the safety away so he gets that one-on-one coverage that he needs to make plays. That's where you're going to have your excitement.
Gotcha. Andrew.
Mr. Jordan Howard.
Nice.
Eagles didn't have a running back last year. Everybody was hurt. We had to rely on Josh Adams and Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement, who eventually got hurt. Boston Scott was getting carries last year. You finally have an actual #1 running back. Now, I know he got traded for, what was the term you were using earlier? A couple bags of peanuts?
2 bags of Planters peanuts and some Doritos.
That's pretty much what he got traded for to come to the Eagles. Here's the thing. He got a performance bonus to $2 million. He was getting paid under $1 million the first couple of years of his career. It's now over $2 million. So what did he get a taste of? Money. He's in the final year of his contract. What is he going to want more of? Money. Eagles finally have a number 1 running back. He's on a contract year, which is going to help out. He's going to help out in the red zone. He's going to help out first and second down and those 4-minute offenses later in the game. Again, you didn't have that guy last year.
Yeah. And do you know, since 2016, who is 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards combined? That'd be one Mr. Jordan Howard.
Jordan Howard.
Yeah. That'd be one Mr. Jordan Howard. That's
correct.
correct.
The Bears were a different team 3 years ago.
Right. You know that Drake meme that's going on? Okay. That's how I just reacted.
Okay. All right. Let me see what you got.
I'm going to go Mr. Malik Jackson, different Jackson on that D-line. This is a playmaker type player on the defensive line. And next to Fletcher Cox, who can eat up blocks on that D-line. Malik Jackson might feast. We saw what Michael Bennett did at the end of the season last year when he started to break out a little bit. And Malik Jackson can do that. So I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not looking forward to seeing him, but I think he's going to be a player that can really break out and have a really good season paired next to Fletcher Cox on that D-line.
Yeah, remember the pandemonium when it first came out? 3 years, $10 million total. I thought Howie was like the biggest genius of all time.
Right.
3 years, $30 million is what the deal. But our next question is actually the social media question of the week. Of all the Eagles returning from injury, who are you most worried about? And on social media, the choices will be Brandon Brooks, Ronald Darby, Derek Barnett, or Rodney McLeod. You guys don't have to choose any of them.
I'm going off.
Just for those people on social media, when you see the graphic, you know what? Let's start on this side. James, what do you have for us?
I'm going to go Mr. Sid Jones. Sidney Jones, the high draft pick a couple years ago towards Achilles at the Combine. He's going to come back and he's going to get starter minutes. He's going to play. He's going to get a lot of snaps. But that Achilles injury is going to linger, and I'm not sure how it's going to work. We haven't really seen Sidney Jones play big type snaps and big type plays since he's been in the NFL, and now he's going to be relied upon in an Eagles secondary that's already thin and already a little shaky. So they're going to rely on someone who they haven't put their eggs in a lot of their eggs in his basket in the beginning parts of his career. So that's going to be shaky to see.
Andrew.
One of the guys mentioned Brandon Brooks. I'm going to go with Brandon Brooks, and here's part of the reason why. The guy's already trying to get back for week 1. I spoke to somebody within the league. He wants to play week 1. He thinks he's going to play week 1. That's not an injury that you just come back from. That's not an injury where you go, yeah, it's like, oh, I'll be ready for week 1. And look, he's at training camp. He's in pads. He's doing all the workouts. That's awesome. It's almost like a Carson Wentz thing where I kind of wanted Carson to take a little bit of time before coming back. I was okay with 2 weeks last year. I don't want Brandon Brooks being ready week 1, but you might force him to get back for week 1 because you have Carson Wentz coming back after a second season-ending injury. And when you look at that offensive line, some might say it's the best offensive line in football because of Brandon Brooks. If Brandon Brooks is not in there, it's not going to be one of the best offensive lines in all football. So they might try to hurry him back, especially if he says he's ready to go.
Right.
And I'm just concerned that if he does go down again, it's because he came back too early, and then the offensive line is not what we thought it would be.
And then he doesn't come back for a while after that.
The Eagles have some psychos on that line between Kelsey playing through all those injuries last year, Brooks trying to come back.
Peters trying to play into his mid-70s.
Right, Peters still going. It's awesome. E.T., what do you got?
So I'm going to go friend of the program one, Mr. Jalen Mills, and here's the reason why. Jalen Mills got hurt last year. He came into this year supposed to be healthy, and he's already in a walking boot / not walking boot / still on a pup list, not ready to play. Say what you want about Jalen Mills. People called him double move Mills. I was guilty at one point. But the problem is he was your starting corner, and he was the one guy that if Sidney Jones needed somebody to learn from in terms of how to play, because as much as I like Ronald Darby's a speed guy who depends a lot on his natural athletic ability and not necessarily talent at being a corner. Jalen Mills actually has skills as a corner. He just doesn't have the natural athletic ability. So those little moves, way to read hips and corners, double hitches, things like that, he could teach Sidney Jones at the NFL level. He's not there to teach him.
He's teaching Sidney Jones how to read double moves.
Hey, listen.
Jalen Mills.
Hey, listen. What he says is, watch the tape where I got burned by that double move by Alshon before we traded for him, and now you'll know how not to get beat by the double move.
All right, well, there you have it. And lastly here, we're going to go with who is the most overrated, and then after that, you're going to give me your most underrated team. But first and foremost, we're going to start with the most overrated team in the NFL, E.T.
As a Dolphins fan, the New England Patriots, I am so sick and bleeping tired of Tom Brady. Listen, they do not have Gronk this year. I almost broke this board writing it. Listen, at some point, Father Tom is undefeated. I don't care how great you are. Even Peyton Manning was throwing ducks in the last few years of his career. Tom Brady is not going to always be Tom Brady, and this is the year they finally fall off the map and they get beaten. I've got the Patriots as the most overrated team.
What did he say earlier? Insanity is doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. So you've gone in probably the past 3 or 4 seasons saying exactly that, and they've gone to the Super Bowl the past 3.
That's why I got that trouble look on my face. How many times have you been saying that?
I've been saying it. I've been saying it since they took over the AFC East.
You had your moment last year. You had your moment last year with the game-winning touchdown.
Hell yeah, that was great.
You always get one in Miami, though. You
Always.
beat them in
We
Miami.
split every year.
Yeah.
What do you have for us?
Chicago Bears.
Nice.
They are going to make the playoffs. They are going to win their division. But they're not going to win a damn thing with Mitch Trubisky as their starting quarterback.
Really?
I don't think Mitch Trubisky's a guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl unless it's a total game manager situation where they win 17-10.
But that defense, he can be.
They got
They got the defense.
They
They got
had
the
it
great
last year. That type of Super Bowl happened
No,
last
Goff's
year.
an offensive guy.
You're right. Yeah, that type of Super Bowl did happen last year. Eagles beat the Bears, double doink. Maybe that's part of the reason why I love it. I think the Chicago Bears are still going to make the playoffs. They're still going to be a great regular season team, but I think that's what they are. They're a great regular season team, and come playoff time, I think they lose.
Gotcha.
I'm going. If you can't see what color this is brown. So this is the Cleveland Browns.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Cleveland
I love the Browns this
Here's
year.
the thing. I like the Browns, but they have a lot of what? What makes you like the Browns? A lot of talent, but it's potential talent. Like
Nah,
talent
I love
that
Baker.
hasn't-
Baker's
talent
talented.
hasn't-
That
talent
kid's
hasn't
good, man.
played together
Dream
since-
team, huh?
They're a little dream team esque.
Little dream team.
I told people Baker Mayfield was the best quarterback in that draft last year and got laughed all around the city. He is the best quarterback, hands down, in that class.
And
I stand by it.
I'm happy for you, ET, that you called that. But they're right now 5th in Vegas odds for winning the Super Bowl, and I can't.
They haven't been 5th in Vegas odds since the 70s.
That's a lot of hype. A lot of they're exciting now. That's
Well, they got
why.
Odell out there running around.
Cool.
They
haven't
got
played
juice
one-
back with
They
him.
haven't played one game together yet.
No, they haven't.
For you to be in the top 5 in most likely to win the Super Bowl, it's got to be proven on something.
And that's why I have the Bears. Bears are in top 5 too.
They
All
are.
these people are betting the Bears. They're betting the Cowboys as always.
Well, the Bears
Betting the
at least
Browns.
you can at least look to last year. Look at the Bears. Oh, the Bears had the best defense in the league last year. The Bears also returned Eddie Jackson and Khalil Mack and Mitch
much hype.
Trubisky. And look, Khalil Mack's the best defensive player in the league.
Right?
Before we go back the other way,
And Aaron
for
Donald won
most
1A.
underrated, before we go back the other way, Sean, do you have something for us?
Yeah, we do. We got some great social media interactions here. Ty Moore has a comment and then a question. ET is always wrong, so Wentz will be healthy all year. Breaking news on Trust the Process Live.
Thank you, Ty. That's correct.
And then
man.
Ty Moore's question today: should the Eagles go after Clowney? One-year deal signed with the Texans.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it.
There was some rumors swirling around that the Texans might trade him for something.
Like Aguilar and Smallwood is.
I
don't know.
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't know
No
if
way
I
in
believe
hell
it.
I don't
do
know
that
if I
trade.
believe that.
Can they trade Michael Kendricks still? Remember how we've been trying to trade Michael Kendricks
Yeah,
for 35
for a
years?
year.
Even though he's on another team now.
Might
We can
trade
trade
him
him, right?
serving a
Yeah.
sentence
Julia
soon.
Okafor, you can package him in a trade too, right?
Yeah,
That's
there you
all
go.
we're trying to do is package all these
Throw 'em,
guys.
just package them all up.
Do you
Go
Double
out.
cheesesteaks,
need
Markel
Jadeveon
Fultz.
Clowney? Is it worth it to give up something to go get Jadeveon?
Well, if they
Clowney
can give
right
up
now?
those two and get them, I think you do it. But
not gonna give up
they
those
do
two.
need depth on the defensive ends. Really, after Barnett and Graham, you don't have a ton of depth. You have Vinny Curry, Josh Sweat, some guys like that. So I would like them to go. I love Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, obviously we all know his play from college, and he's been a very good player in the pros as well. But coming back now to our question, James, we'll start with you since you were the last to finish. Who's the most underrated team in the NFL?
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Oh, man, you're still living this dream?
BUCCANEERS. Go Bucks, baby. The most underrated team in the NFL. And here's why I'm going to say that. Am I projecting them to be a good team, a playoff team? No, I'm realistic, guys. But I'm not projecting them to be bottom 5 like we've been in the past couple of seasons. We get a brand new head coach and a brand new defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles, who I really like, and Bruce Arians, who has been a quarterback whisperer as of late.
Got Temple South there.
There you go. Bruce Arians has never in his career won less than 8 games. Won less than 8 games in his career. And say what you want about Jameis Winston, but when he got the starting job back from Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, he had a 14-8 touchdown to interception ratio and posted triple-digit touchdowns for I think 3 or 4 games when he came back last year. And also still has Mike Evans and O.J. Howard, who are probably 2 top 5 players at their positions in the league. So say what you want. I'm not predicting the Buccaneers to be a good team, but not predicting them to be a dumpster fire as we've been in the past couple of seasons.
Yeah. You might need a dumpster fire to get a new quarterback, but you got a couple seasons to do that.
Do you believe in Jameis Winston?
Move on.
All right, so the football people don't have these guys as underrated, but I'm pretty sure people who pay attention to the league, like fans, the Indianapolis Colts, they're winning their division. They got year 2 of Frank Reich and Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, all those years he was hurt, they had high top draft picks. So they're able to draft early in every single round. I know if you look at ESPN.com or any of those websites, the Colts are usually in the top 10 in the preseason power rankings, but nobody talks about the Colts. The Colts are not the sexy team. Everybody's talking about the Browns. Everybody's talking about the Bears. Everybody, of course, talks about the Patriots. Nobody talks about the Colts.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go with the Colts.
The one podcast I listen to has them versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So
and the AFC South is up for grabs.
Yes.
It's up for grabs.
they're waiting. As you roll your eyes at me for saying that,
All right.
let me see
so
what you have.
initially I had the Buccaneers, but after that terrible Buccaneers Buccaneers cheer he did, I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders.
That was my second
And
team.
here's the reason why.
I'm just flattered that you had my team.
I'm going to tell you why. I wasn't always a fan of John Gruden. I thought he was an idiot for letting Khalil Mack go. Again, he got a king's ransom for him. But I look at what he did in the draft and how he built up that roster. They add a guy like Antonio Brown, who's a top 3 player, and finally give Derek Carr a target that's not going to drop passes like Amari Cooper did. I think if he gets half of the potential out of Derek Carr that he had that year, he was 12-4, and they looked like a championship team. The Raiders go far, adding Josh Jacobs, who a lot of people wanted here in the draft, giving him a bell cow running back. You know Gruden likes to run the ball. He's going to play smart. He's not going to ask Derek Carr to win games for him, but you know you got a guy in AB out there who can beat his man consistently. Derek Carr has never had that. He's never had a guy where he can throw the ball in the area and he's going to go get it. And that matters. I don't think they win the division. I think the San Diego and the Chiefs are still ahead of them, but I think they get in as a wild card, which surprises a lot of folks.
I agree with you. And people wanted to kill John Gruden for letting go of Khalil Mack, forgetting Khalil Mack didn't want to play there either. So he got what he did what he could and got so much for Khalil Mack.
Lots of them.
Who stated outright publicly, I do not want to play here anymore. So what are you going to do? Keep him just because he's the best player in the league? You don't want to play there. He's
and
not
here's the
produce
kicker. The thing is, it wasn't that he traded. It was that people said, wow, you traded Khalil Mack for all these months because you didn't want to pay him. No. What he did is he literally came in and overhauled an entire roster. And literally, they will not look like the Raiders from last year by the time the season starts. They literally, most of their skill positions have already been turned over with the exception of Carr, maybe a few other guys.
Look,
and they got some old money off of their
Chucky got a 10-year contract.
Smart.
He knew I didn't have to do this in 1 year.
And head coaches, when they come in, they want their guys anyway. I mean, a lot of it are holdovers from the old coach. He wants to get to his guys in there. It's a great way to do it. Before we head into tap out, Sean, you have one more thing for us.
We got a comment and a question again. Louis Pizzolo says the Jets are the most underrated team. JETS.
Jets put them up to their show.
Who the hell says the Jets are anything?
And we got a question going back to baseball from Brian Womer. Did Phillies management overvalue the pitching staff, or is it a case of poor coaching?
No, it's not poor coaching.
They overvalued the pitching staff.
Yeah, guys can't throw. Guys can't throw. I mean,
I can bash Gabe Kapler all I want because I don't like Gabe Kapler.
Right.
But it's not his fault that the general manager believed that your rotation, Aaron Nola, number 1, great. Remember, Nick Pivetta was your number 2 coming into the season. Guys in the bullpen.
He looked
Jake
great.
Arrieta was your number 3. Even with a healthy elbow, not the greatest pitcher. You had Zach Eflin as your number 4, who was hitting a wall in July when he's a young pitcher. And number 5 was Velasquez, who, again, went to the bullpen a couple of times. That's the general manager's fault. And they thought, oh, well, Jared Eichhoff will fill the hole if one of these guys goes down.
What I think they thought is we may not have the best pitching rotation in the league, but we got the bats to make up for it if we don't. And then that went south, and when that goes south, everything else.
So you could score 7 runs. If you're giving up 8, you're going to lose.
Exactly.
Right. Yep, absolutely. Thank you for everyone who gave us questions. Always open to those. But guys, now it is time for tap outs. James, we'll start with you. Yeah.
So last week, 2 albums dropped. One was Chance the Rapper's album, The Big Day. It was a great album. But there was another one that dropped that didn't get as much hype, and that was The Lost Boy by YBN Cordae. And when I say that name, a lot of people, if you don't know him, sounds like it might be another one of these mumble rappers. Doesn't do much, doesn't really say much, just has good beats and lets it ride out from there. That's not the case, though. This guy came in, and this album from front to back is very good. Has skits in the middle of it to produce a whole story aspect of it. And he called himself in the middle of it the leader of the Renaissance, having to come back and try to save modern day rap for what it is from a bunch of these mumble rappers and a bunch of new age kind of rap. And I'm saying, like, YBN Cordae has a great album. You should go check it out, The Lost Boy, and he runs with Puma. So anyone who runs with Puma is a friend of mine.
All right, Andrew?
So this is non-sports related?
It could be anything that you want.
Well,
Can be sports related.
I was bitching a lot before coming down here. I work in radio, right? So I wear shorts and a t-shirt to work all the time. And then my man Jimmy, who's helping you guys out today, tells me, oh, you're going to be on camera. And I thought, all right, maybe just waist up. So I was going to wear shorts and a t-shirt or something, or a nicer t-shirt. I find out I'm on camera, full camera. So I'm like, all right, let me try a little harder. You know what's the biggest scam in the world? Non-wrinkled shirts. Because they wrinkle.
Yes, they do.
This shirt's supposed to be non-wrinkled. It's wrinkled. The shirt that I put on at first was supposed to be non-wrinkled. It was wrinkled. I don't care how long listen, there was a lot of space in my closet. It shouldn't be wrinkled because it's non-wrinkled. That's the biggest scam in the world. There's so many scams out there. Non-wrinkled shirts, scam.
Scam. There you go. It says non-wrinkled.
An iron. It'll save your life.
Yeah, I got to purchase one of those.
All right, E.T.
So mine's a little different. I want to take a second and just say something. Life comes at you fast. Things happen that you expect, you don't expect. And sometimes you got to take a step back to kind of realize and appreciate what you have. So this message is a little personal for me to my 2 daughters, Shayla and Isaiah. Life has come fast, but we going to be all right, and I love you. That's my
There you have
tap
it. That's awesome.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I
I don't
that
really
every
have.
once in a while where you try to bring a tearjerker to one.
Hey,
I'll close out. I don't really have much. The only thing, when I was getting on to 95, I believe his name's Alan Horowitz, the guy with the white hair at front row every Sixers game.
Yeah.
It was 3 lanes of stopped traffic, and I'm like 90% sure it was him. On the shoulder of the road is flying by at like 70 miles per hour.
My man.
He takes off. I looked over and I saw it was him, and I could not believe it. Alan, if you
respect
could confirm or deny if that was
dropping
you.
tape out there, man. The cops ain't gonna go find him and ticket him, man. Let him live.
Nah, man,
They can't take
The
it.
way he was
He
driving,
was
in,
super fan, right? He has
right.
clout. He was wearing a Sixers hat, actually. But that's all the time that we have here on Trust the Process Live. Andrew, thank you so much for joining the show.
Absolutely.
Kismet, thank you so much for having us. And thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to My New Philly. Something always new, and everything is always Philly, baby.
Chemo, drop the mixtape, that shit sounded like an album. Who'd have thought a countrywide tour would be the outcome? Labels want my name.
I want to throw something too.
Everybody got it.
Those guys, I appreciate it, bro.
Hey, can I get a board that doesn't wipe this way?
Don't scratch off your board.
Man, seriously. Anytime you guys.
ET, don't scratch off your board. You want to be a Bucks fan? Be a Bucks fan, baby.
I just like what they. I like Bruce Arians. I believe in Bruce Arians more than anything. This guy took a Cardinals team that wasn't supposed to win and made him relevant. I like him. I like him as a coach. Everywhere he stepped in and coached, he's been good. He was good in Indianapolis. He was good in Arizona. He'll be good in Tampa Bay. And he gets the most out of his quarterback, which is all that Tampa Bay needs.
And people are already saying James is looking a little more concerned.
Well, yeah, because Bruce don't play that shit.
You see what he did? No music at training camp for the Bucks fans. No music. No music, a whole lot of color. That was a good show. That was a great show.